All right, using relative and absolute time radiometric dating and fossils to understand the order in which events happened allows us to then organize the whole history of the Earth. And we do this in something called geologic time, or the geologic time scale. There is a simple geologic time scale on this slide, and what you need to understand about it is the following, is that this essentially is like a TV guide for the Earth. Because if somebody asked you when your show was on, like The Big Bang Theory or The Voice or Survivor or whatever it is you're going to watch, and you just told them it was on TV, then they would have to go home and turn their TV on and just watch. And when we talk about these different events on the Earth, like when were the first amphibians? And you would say, well, that happened a long time ago. Or when were the first fish? Well, that happened a long time ago. So that doesn't really narrow down and organize anything. But once we understand relative time and absolute time and fossils, those things then help us to understand and organize geologic time. And that's what we're trying to do here. And so there are different ways that we do it. Instead of then having to say, well, it happened a really long time ago, or it happened a billion years ago, we can use these time periods just like you use days of the week to understand when different shows are on. Well, you want to watch on Thursday if you want to watch The Big Bang Theory. So we narrow those down, and then and that would tell us, okay, if The Big Bang Theory happened on Thursday, that would be during the Mesozoic time period, okay? And that still gives us all these other times when that could happen. And then you say, well, okay, it happened in the Mesozoic, and you should watch at 8 p.m. And that tells us it's in the Jurassic. Oh, okay, well, now we know that's when the first birds were. So that really helps us to understand and organize these things in these different events. Now, these funky names are based on when or where the first rocks of this time period were found. So we get these different names based on that. For example, the Pennsylvanian, that would tell you that some of the first rocks found in the Carboniferous time period were found in Pennsylvania. Or the Mississippian, that's how they get those names. And some of these other ones are based on that mostly. What you should understand and walk away from this is understanding the divisions that we have here and some of the events that happened in those divisions. So the divisions are based on how life has changed on this planet. It has to be pretty major events. I have mentioned some of those already, the first mammals, the first amphibians, the first fish, and then we can even use the extinction of things like the extinction of dinosaurs to create divisions. So we can say, okay, the end of the dinosaurs tells us it's the Tertiary and not the Cretaceous anymore. So that's helpful that way. Okay, so what are some of those divisions? Well, the largest divisions are what are called eras. These are listed down the side here, and there are 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So then what we can think about is make this really simple for you, and we'll create a timeline. It's an arrow like this, and we've got 2 times on here. We have the Earth forms here, and then we have present time. So if we make some simple divisions in this here, remember I told you that it's based on changes in life. So this time period here, the Proterozoic, is huge. Lots of time is involved in that. And actually our divisions look about like this. So the Proterozoic here, I'm going to abbreviate it, the Prot, takes up this whole time period in here. Not a lot went on. And then we've got these other divisions, the Paleozoic, the Mesozoic, and the Cenozoic. So Paleo, Meso, and Cen, okay? And then we get really interesting things in here, like where do humans show up? Oh, well, humans are about right here. What's interesting is that dinosaurs are right here, not at the same time. So it's important that we understand the order and the sequences of these things so that we know how life has changed, when life has changed, and then those divisions are made. So eras, I've labeled the 4 major eras on here. And then periods, periods is this section right here. And then within that we have epochs, and most of the epochs are actually located in here because we have a lot more divisions that occur in this time period. Like I told you, not a lot of diversity here. And if there's not a lot of diversity of life, then there's not a lot of things that we can create divisions on. Most of the divisions happen in here because we have lots of diversity of life in that area that allows us to make all those changes in how and when life began to change. So that's your simple timeline, and that's the purpose of the geologic time scales, to make it easier to understand, to be able to see when those changes happen, to create those changes based on differences in life.